Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I'm going to start this video by telling you a story. It's a terrible, tragic story that happened right here in Toronto a couple of years ago. Everyone in Toronto is already familiar with this story. Others around the world may not be, so bear with me if you already know this information. On April 23rd, 2018, a man named Alec Minassian rented a van and drove it down a busy stretch of Yonge Street in Toronto. Now, the sidewalks here are generous. It's a busy part of the city, and the sidewalks are designed to cater for heavy pedestrian traffic. Alec Minassian ran a red light at Finch Avenue, and then he mounted the sidewalk, and in a very deliberate manner, witnesses said it was like someone playing a video game. He aimed for and drove into pedestrians. Not everyone was able to get out of the way in time. 16 people were injured, 10 people lost their lives. In the wake of this tragedy, two facts about Alec Minassian dominated the news. One was that he was an incel, or involuntary celibate, which we all know is a fancy way of saying that he was bitter because he couldn't get women to sleep with him. This appeared to be the motivation for his attack, and most of the people who were hit, again, the victims were selected and targeted from a distance, were women. The other fact that was widely reported was the fact that Alec Minassian is on the autism spectrum. And when I heard this, my first thought was, not again. It seems that every time there is a tragedy like this, the media makes a point of stating that the perpetrator was autistic. This was said about James Holmes, who murdered 12 people in a Colorado movie theater in 2012. It was said about Adam Lanza, who murdered 26 people, mostly young children, in Sandy Hook, also in 2012. And the danger is that people start to link acts of extreme violence with autism. People start to think of autistic people as being dangerous. And the lives of people who are on the autism spectrum, people like my own son, become very difficult as a result. My son already has significant challenges. The last thing he needs is people stigmatizing him because they think, wrongfully, that his autism makes him dangerous. Alec Minassian's case has been working its way through the court system, and his trial began a couple of weeks ago. He has entered a plea of not criminally responsible, and the reasoning being used by his defense team, the sole diagnosis that they are basing their case on, is autism. When the media does it, that's one thing. We all know about media bias and irresponsible journalism. When legal professionals are saying he committed these atrocities because of his autism, that is downright sinister. And it is so important to get the message out that autistic people are not inherently dangerous. They are more likely to be the victims of violent crimes than the perpetrators. When someone with autism does commit an act of violence, it's not because of their autism. It could be because of some childhood trauma, or it could be because of some condition that exists alongside the autism, or it could be because a certain segment of the population, autistic and otherwise, are just not good people. And so I am disappointed and angry and frankly afraid of the fact that autism is being touted as a direct cause of the atrocity that Alec Minassian committed. If he wins the case on that basis, that will be a devastating blow to the autism community. This man needs to be held properly accountable for what he did. The autism community deserves that. The victims of this terrible crime deserve that.